Hi. So, February recap time. I read 13 books. Overall, pretty good month. Let's see. The first book I finished was Front Runner by Elsie Silver. I rated it 3.5 stars. So this is the third book in the Gold Ranch series, and we get Stefan and Mira in this one. Stefan ends up letting the Gold Ranch use his horse to feed the baby that lost his mom. He does require that the fowl come to the mare in order to feed there so she's comfortable. And Mira oversees that and makes sure everything goes okay because, she's a veterinarian. And they just kind of hang out a lot. And that's pretty much why I rated this 3.5 stars only. There was a lot of hanging out, not a lot of things happening. I was very like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Just kind of dragging out. There was one like action-y part, but it just kind of felt like it was there so something would happen. They were super dramatic, and yeah, but the next book is Best Friend's Little Sister, which is going to be Stefan's little sister. I am so excited about that one. So we're going to continue. I still liked it. It just wasn't my favorite in that series. And then I read Quicksilver, and I ended up rating this one 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed the characters and the writing. I felt like some parts didn't make total sense, so I'm probably going to need to reread this before the next book comes out. In this book, we're following Saris. She lives in the human realm, and it's a really bad place to live. There is an evil queen who doesn't give water to, shuts off the water to the poor people and all of these things and blah, blah, blah. She seems to be the only person in a very long time who can open the portals between the human and the Fey realms. So she is needed to help fight a war in the Fey realms, which eventually leads to her making it better for the human realms, etc., etc. A lot happens. It is kind of plot heavy, but like I said, there's some weird parts, so kind of have to see how it's going to play out. I really liked this one. And then I read Indigo Ridge, which is the first book in Garnet Falls. I rated it 4 stars. I absolutely loved our characters, and the subplot to this was super intriguing because our main character is the new commander-in-chief in town. And she's trying to solve these suicides, get to the bottom of it, because it's a repeat occurrence there, and it's rare for a small town. I felt like it was a little corny at times, but the plot really made up for that. And then I read A Language of Dragons, and I kind of didn't want to talk about this book, but I finished it so I could. I rated it 2 stars. Didn't really appreciate some of the language that the author used, and it felt very unauthentic and forced. The plot felt unauthentic, and the relationships between the characters felt unauthentic. I absolutely hated our main character. I thought that she was a terrible person. Very terrible. And she admits that she's terrible, and I don't know. She just didn't seem genuine. I didn't like her. I didn't like it. I'm not going to continue. Moving on. I should have DNF'd it. And then I read Once You're Mine. In this book, we're following Callista and Hayden. Callista's father recently passed away, and she's struggling to survive financially. So she's going through it, looking for different jobs, all these things. And then Hayden is a lawyer, who actually was on her father's court case. He is very possessive. Yes, it's a stalker romance. So enough said about that. I rated this one 3 stars. I don't honestly remember too much about it. There were a couple scenes that will be stuck in my head though, because they were really good. But it did end on a cliffhanger, but honestly, you could see it coming. We knew, it didn't really feel like a cliffhanger to us because we knew it, you know. Then I read The Awakening. This is a reread. I listened to the dramatic retelling, and I'm super happy that I listened to that. It was so good. I love Orion. When I first read this book, I rated it 3 stars, and I upped it to 4. So there's that. And then I read Saving 6, and I don't think I'm going to finish this series. Disappointed. It was boring. Not much happens. Like, I felt like it was unnecessary. 500 plus pages for, so we already knew what was happening. Like, we didn't need it to be drawn out into detail like that. Okay. Anyway, should I skip and read Gibbs's story? Someone please tell me. Then I read Golden Son. 5 stars, 100%. Favorite book of the month. We'll see about the year. I don't know. Morning starts next. So the Red Rising trilogy is so good. Sci-fi, dystopian, super unique. Think like class system tricked into it for not any good reason besides just to keep them down. Darrow, I love him so much. I can't really say too much about Golden Son because everything's a spoiler at this point, but Red Rising, we follow Darrow. He's a red. He is a hell diver, which means he's on Mars and he digs, he drills, and he wants to bring justice for everybody, and that's like his main goal. So we're following him through all of that, and in the first game he undergoes serious changes in order to switch classes and like try to infiltrate from that side. So it's very good, and I don't know what else to say about it. And then I read Cirque Obscurum, which is like a dark fantasy reverse harem. It's super unique and pretty interesting. I always think that reverse harems are corny. I've not ever seen one done that's not just like, really, you know? No judgment at all. I love the spice. It's not that. And then I got Rift from NetGalley. This book I rated 5 stars, my second favorite book of the month. It's very unique sci-fi, but more fantasy than sci-fi. I love the characters. It's kind of got like a found family aspect to it. And I've never really read a book with any kind of similar plot before, so it was very intriguing. I read it in a day, less than a day. I didn't want to put it down. Yeah, it's out. It came out on the 25th of February, so it's available on Kindle Unlimited. C.B. Woods is the author. It's just like very cozy, but not cozy, if that makes sense. Like, easy to follow. The romance in this book between our 2 main characters is so good, so beautiful. Loved it. And then I read Burnout, which is a sports romance between a Olympic gymnast and a motocross rider. It was exciting, and usually when you read a sports romance, when they're talking about the sports, you're just like getting through it, but this, you were into it. Like, it was exciting to read about. The spice was okay, but really the dialogue and the plot were giving. Spoon feeding. And then I read You, and I actually listened to the audiobook of this, and it is so good. The audiobook is something else. Just like, you really feel like you're inside his psychotic mind. Like, it's fun. We'll continue for sure. And then I reread ACOTAR. Just having so much fun rereading this, making fun of Tamlin, watching, like, she just got back to the human world and just like listening to Nesta complain still. That girl. I'm sorry. If you are a Nesta fan, I don't understand. All she does is complain. Even through A Quarter Silver Flames. I get it. She had this whole turnaround character wise, whatever. I just don't think it was enough. I needed her to like really grovel and really apologize and really own up to her bitchy self. Okay, I said it. Sorry. Obviously, if you like Nesta, we can still be friends. It's fine. I just never could get into her, and I hated having to read that many pages dedicated to her. I felt like she didn't deserve it, and Cassian could do a lot better. Just kidding. Anyways, my TBR for March, I already played my game and spun my wheels, and it's out there. I will actually be doing a reading vlog with my TBR, kind of like I did for February, where the wheel decides how much I read and of what book. I feel like that is really what got me out of my reading slump, like giving myself like a task. Go watch that March TBR video. Have a lot of fun with it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.